May as well.
Ladies, gentlemen, germs, germets, and those who've sold their souls to me. Now time to quit being a dork. Welcome to Digimon D&D's first actual with the group event. This is gonna be interesting because our story takes right center stage after your victory, your conquering moment, the moment when you made Marine Angemon your bitch,
Mm,
and
good
where
times.
and when things could have gone very bad if it wasn't for roles deciding to finally come through. Now we'll get through some set dressing real quick here. As everyone's celebrating, so there's some crying. There is some excessively, ridiculously, we haven't been together for a year. Hardcore PDA happening between Lady Devimon and Omnimon in the background.
Damn.
Like,
Hey, what?
yeah. So, just a quick reminder: Lady Devimon and Omnimon are technically married.
Yeah, I don't know what PDA means.
Oh, public display of affection. Basically, they macking out in front of
Oh,
everybody.
oh, very clear as to why I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, I forgot that it's that way because of an American thing. There are some countries that share it, but not as many. But anyways, so yeah, they're hardcore macking out. Like, if it's allowed to go too terribly much longer, there's going to be very visibly dry humping just in the middle of the
No.
room. And that's why probably you are both thanking God that finally, by some miracle, they got broken up. They got separated. Ironically enough, you have no idea how they knew where to go, how they got here, where did they even find the info, but somehow, through mystic bullshit, both Flarizamon and Hookmon are there kind of like separating the two. They're kind of saying no one wants to see this. And almost like a stereotypical Scooby-Doo film, there are a bunch of Agurumon who are just laughing their ass off at this display. However, I am going to say this much. While you kind of see this whole display happening, you both have something kind of a little different happen. In your case, Lucymon, you feel something changed within you. You feel something dark, or not dark truly, something corrupt start to take hold.
Oof.
You come to a realization that Lucymon is gone.
Wait, what?
You can tell that Lucymon is just gone. For the first time ever, there is just you in your own head.
What the heck?
It's almost eerily silent until you hear this. Freya, you must right the wrong, correct the failure, undo what was done. You must return to your origin, to what has defined you. And then, shortly afterwards, almost like light being flipped. Freya, 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 are you okay? Are you okay? Freya, 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 are you okay? Are you okay? Freya, Freya, speak to me. Come on, Freya, Freya. You know it's Lucymon, and you can tell that she's panicking like hell. Real quickly before we get to your response, Plasmon, you see Bancho Leomon kind of sneak out. Now, I use sneak in air quotes because it is quite genuinely a 7-foot lion with a freaking leather Japanese gangster jacket on and a JoJo style hat. So, sneak is an operative word here. But he manages to kind of just slowly walk his way out. And you also notice that Lady Leomon has caught this too. And you can see her very clearly gesturing for you to basically come over to her for a moment. What do you do?
I'll follow directions.
So as you walk up, she basically goes to tell you that Bancho Miyamon's going to go to the old Atlantis city. And then she says something that bothers you deeply. She says that clearly he's going to go there for the treasure, the relic. She does not look happy. This starts to already sound familiar before she gets into any details yet. She tells you a little bit of old Atlantis' history. That it once was a city on the land. Once, long ago, it was on the land. It was a normal city like any other. But then through mistakes and carelessness, a soft tragedy wound up happening. And that tragedy resulted in the entire city being dragged to the bottom of the ocean. This is all impossibly familiar to you. Because your brother told you stories of an Atlantis fairy tale that started the same way. The fairy tale simply was just as vague about what the consequence was, what were they careless about. Your brother did have his own theories on what it was, but he always made sure to kind of crack a joke in the process of saying these theories, because he didn't believe them. And he was very clear about that. He didn't believe that really even that half of it was true. He believed that there's possibly a nugget, but not half even. It's what's told afterwards that starts to bother you most, though. She gives you something that, honestly, your brother said that every person that came before him who's told that story has never known how to begin, middle, or end that story. Because there's a specific sentence said in the story that makes no damn sense. Eat und. Eat eind. Eat sei. Your brother never understood what the F that meant. It clearly had some bits from Spanish and clearly some bits from other languages, but never made sense. Now, she basically just gives you the story and then tells you one of the reasons why he's gone there is for this relic. And it is said in fairy tales, myths, folklore spanning pretty much since Atlantis sank. The story goes that there was an artifact either made or was discovered or what have you. No one really knows the truth on what. All they know is that this artifact supposedly can allow someone to pull off miracles for exchanges. Once it is used, though, it vanishes and appears some other time in some other location. Where and when, no one ever knows. is why many people haven't gone for the relic itself. While it's powerful enough to grant a miracle, due to the impossibility to predict when, where it shows up, and what that cost is, no one has tried to really use it. And for some reason, especially Marine Digimon, are the type of stubborn bastards who will sooner fight fate than try and get around it, clearly. For better or for worse, even. But as soon as she says that it can grant miracles, you already have an idea, a gist of what he's aiming for. He wants to use that miracle to try and either bring back all those who he himself brought low, or at least in some way allow them to have some semblance of peace. And you already, I'm going to have you do a roll. I would like for you to roll just a straight perception check here, okay? Nothing complicated.
A straight perception check?
As in no
What do you
fate
mean,
rolls.
perception check?
No fate rolls, just a perception check. Something normal. Normal Tuesday.
We got a nat 20.
Nice. Hell yeah. So, because you got a nat 20, you don't just know where he's going. You damn well read this motherfucker like a book. Too well, even. To the point of agony. He's gonna go there. If it puts him in danger, swell. You remember hearing of an awful moment in a D&D group you watched once of a certain character who was stupid, who was kind of suicidal, and on top of that had no brain cells. And you can't help but be reminded of that character now, in the worst ways. The only difference is this one is tall and not a dwarf. I hope that reference landed well. Ultimately, you know where he's going. He's going after this relic. You know he's going to try and use it. And you also know that in his current mental state, he's not going to use brain cells, if he has them, or not. Now, to you both, what's your do's?
I'd say that I look at Lucimon in confusion and ask what happened.
She's like, what are you talking about? I should be asking you that! What the hell happened? Where'd you go? You scared me. Her almost cat-like ears kind of just like scoop downwards with a pout. You scared me, jerk. And she kind of just headbutts you a little bit. So while they powwow, what you do, Smab?
So they're separated?
No, they're having an internal conflict. Or conversation. I mean, she did just headbutt her, so we'll call it a combative conversation.
So they're having a kind of planescape convo.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, you made it sound like they were separate bodies.
Yeah, in their case, it's kind of like what happens with you when you go and talk to your Digimon half. It's kind of like that, but it looks different because one's a human inside a Digimon body, the other was a Digimon permitting a human into their body. So it looks weird. Whereas, like, for you, it's like a mirror. In their case, it's like yin-yang, polar opposite. I guess you could say you're looking in a normal mirror. She's looking in like a funhouse mirror. That's basically the gist of it. So what do you do?
So, have these two already completely left the building?
If you mean Lucimon and Freya,
No, I
no.
mean the other two.
Oh, you mean Bancho Leomon? Yes. Bancho Leomon has left the room. You've managed to do the 20 perception. You've managed to not only keep track of him, but also managed to kind of keep out of sight for a bit. I am going to say, because of the whole conversation with Lady Leomon, there is a bit of a gap no matter what. Because that was a decent bit conversation. Plus lore dump. So, yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and link up good old Google over to the Lucamon channel, and I'm gonna have Google state that we have a Leomon on the run, and he seems to see that he's headed to Old Atlantis. I don't think it's any good. We should probably go about stopping that.
Cool.
So, what winds up happening is not only does he do this, but dear God, is he just a clown about it. He basically decides to pull a Tien, just puts two fingers to his forehead and your forehead at the same time, which is like beep beep, like a dork. But it works. His dorky behavior, his stupid reference, whether it makes you chuckle or not, I leave that to your prerogative. But dear Lord, does it work? It connects you two immediately. To the point of where it almost looks like you know she's not actually, but it almost looks like she's standing in front of you.
Mm.
I wish I could remember what that move's name was from DBZ. Damn it. Here I call myself a nerd.
Uh, what move? What kind of what move?
If I remember correctly, Tien had this ability where he could basically telepathically communicate to people from a distance just by touching heads. Or touching his own head.
I don't think it had a proper name.
Really? Did it not have a proper name?
Like, it didn't have a special move name. Pretty damn sure.
That to me. Oh, it wasn't just Tien. I didn't notice that detail. That goes to show how, when I was a kid, I didn't care that Goku talked much. Goku Hitty, yes. uh, and I call myself a nerd. How shameful. Ultimately, you manage to get the connection. It looks silly and kind of ridiculous, but it works. Lucimon, you can see what he's doing. You get to see the both of them, and you just see two plasmons. One's touching both of their foreheads, and the other one's just standing there like, how did I get into this mess? And that whole message is relayed to you again. You get told of where Bancho Leomon's going, what he's hoping to accomplish, why he's hoping to accomplish it, and you also get informed of the badness. This part was not intentional on Smap's part. Plasmon threw this in there just because the sake of fuck it. He threw in the info of he's also suicidal, so we should probably doubly worry. So what do you two do now? Do you reconvene? Do something
Yeah.
stupid?
No, I'd say we reconvene and try to catch up.
Okay. So you manage to reconvene pretty easily. Lady Devamont does kind of stop you for a moment, just warning you that it's very clear you're no longer the same. That doesn't mean worse. Just keep your head on your shoulders and you'll be fine. And almost like an American footballer, She gives you a slap on the ass.
HR, where's HR?
Don't ask why American football players do that. No one will ever know. And I'm not gonna lie, as an American, we don't want to know. But he managed to, mind you, probably just like, what the hell was that? What? Why? You managed to catch up to Smab pretty quickly. And thanks to that 20, that I'm going to say probably fizzles out after this, not only do you manage to keep up with Bonchaleomon pretty easily, but more than anything, you manage to see exactly how he's going to get to Old Atlantis, because you all are in a bubble far above it. Still deep, deep down into the water. But it's a ways down. And you figure out how. He hopped in a Submarimon. And time for me to pull up an image. Whee!
When the nerd goes, wee!
Yeah. Don't. This is why us nerds aren't technically supposed to reproduce, because we just get weirder as we spread. True story.
Nah.
What was that?
I said nah.
Oh yes, I forgot. You've siloed yourself into this fate. Mademoiselle, I offer you deepest condolences, but it is terminal. Okay. One somebody. Hello? Hello? Hey! No, hey. Oh well. Screw it. It's good as we're gonna get. Wait, no. I'm just stupid. Here we go. There we go. Boy. Like, 4-time charm, right? So yeah, that center image is a Submarimon. Oh yes,
I thought you would know.
I forgot. I am so stupid. I am so sorry. I forgot the sharing of screens.
Yeah. Also, while we're going through this event episode, I am doing the drawing of another evolution.
Nice.
Okay, I have to expand that way. Then do this thingy. On the one hand, I'm going to miss having 2 screens. On the other hand, I will definitely not miss that second screen I was using for so long. Because it sucked ass.
Sounds like another one should be acquired at a later date.
The problem is I just need to get actual monitors instead of 2 really off TVs.
Hey, I have a monitor,
Yeah,
an off TV, and a drawing tablet with a screen on it.
Yeah, the problem is one of the TVs I had sucks because it both scrunches everything and stretches things at the same time. So it's like, well, crap. That's it. But anyways, that's the Submarimon right in the middle there.
Oh, I see.
That's what I was trying to describe last session.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In case people like their trivia, a Submarimon is made by an Armadillomon using the Digi-Egg of Sincerity. No, not Sincerity.
Knowledge.
Reliability. Nope. Knowledge is Digimon. This is Reliability.
Oh.
A.K.A. Joe's. The more you know. Now, thankfully, these Submarimon are pretty. I wouldn't say they're abnormally big, but they're hefty enough to the point where just one could technically fit you two. The problem you really have is you notice that you have 2 options: swim and hope you live, or get in a slightly cramped Submarimon. I'll let you take your pick.
You already told us it's impossible to swim.
Oh no, it's not impossible. It's just lethal.
Exactly.
If you get
Literally impossible.
if you get a nat 20 on an athletics, it'll be fine.
It's not happening. We're taking the sub.
Probably a good
Mm.
choice.
You already warned us last time.
Yeah. I just figured I'd make it very clear that technically you're not starting from the top this time around. You're technically starting right in the middle. So it goes from 100% impossible, no other choice but death, to got a nat 20 and you'll live. So, improvements. Right? That's how that works. Ultimately, as you get into the Submarine Mine, you realize it is a bit of a cramped fit. Not so cramped that it's like undoable, but it is cramped enough to be like, well, this sucks. Oh well. Onwards! But as you get in, you get all seated, you hear, hello. How can I help you? Let me try again. Hello. How can I help you?
We're looking to get down to the old Atlantis.
Sure thing. Hold on tight. You start to realize one little annoyance. You realize that these Sabarimon are all in what looks like a cannon. By the time you've already realized, oh wait, this is very cannon-like, it's too late. Boom! You are shot out in a Samarimon like you're a torpedo. You are approaching Old Atlantis very fast. To the point.
Wow, my character screams in shock for a second.
Oh yeah, for you this is beyond dreadful because you've never had any experience like this. You've never been in a torpedo, and you've never been in a Samarimon, which is basically a sentient submarine. So you're having a day. A pretty day of a day.
Oh yeah.
Smab, would you say that your character is particularly fond of torpedoes or roller coasters?
They don't get out much.
So yeah, you're probably also screaming probably just as loud. It's just not as much from terror as more like from I want off this ride, let me out.
Also, I just realized I still have it set up from the last video we did,
Yep. Not that I mind.
so I must go fix it.
You can if you want. I just do it without thinking. But yeah. Ultimately, this ride sucks. It's just like unacceptably fast. It's not comfy, and you can actually see the water being basically ripped through like a monstrous freaking airplane. You are going disgustingly fast. If you would like to roll to keep your vomit in check, I leave that to you. I'm just going to assume you keep it in check until otherwise. Deal?
Yeah.
I am going to say, though, if you'd like to keep your screaming in check, I will say, because of your guys' histories, you'd be rolling at disadvantage, or you can just scream bloody murder. I leave to you.
Rolling what?
In this case, it would be a keep your shit together roll, or as I'm going to call it, probably just like something along the lines of either wisdom or con. If you can make a good enough case, we can even work with charisma. But it'd have to be a good case.
I feel like this is all based around wisdom.
Pretty fair. Again, if you'd rather just not do the roll, you can just say, oh, I'm screaming bloody murder.
I guess I'll try to control, like, get the screaming under control.
Cool. Because your backgrounds, though, you do have disadvantage. But instead of normal disadvantage, I'm going to say knock 2 off, whatever you get.
What am I rolling?
You are rolling wisdom,
Just
and you're subtracting 2. What you got, Smabby?
I'm fiddling with the character sheet at the moment. Just give me a second.
Okay, take your time.
D&D Beyond doesn't want doesn't want to work with me half the time, it seems.
Mm. Uh,
But wisdom. Wait, no, that's a save.
mhm.
I accidentally rolled the wrong thing.
That's alright, we'll just run with whatever the
Same
number
roll
is.
anyway, because I don't have a plus.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I got an 18, and she got 12.
Okay. So, even with that -2, you actually both did really well. Like, good job.
So with the -2, I was just saying what we rolled. I'm adding
Yeah.
in the -2 right now.
So, we got
So I would have a 16.
She's
Freya
got a
would have a
10.
10.
I'm going to say you both succeed at different levels. Smab, you managed to hold it back just enough to the point where you almost look calm-ish. Not flawlessly calm, but calm-ish. Freya, instead of screaming bloody murder, you're just normal screaming. It's
okay.
not it's not too bad. It's
Hmm.
not like I'm ear piercing. It's like, ah, this sucks. Fuck you. Is about the worst it gets. Until the end of the ride, that is.
Oh god.
Where out of nowhere, this Submarimon basically does a barrel roll, swings open the hatch, you both get launched out, and you land on your feet. I think it's safe to say that as much as you have to use it to get back, more or less, I think probably you're going to come to some kind of agreement to never do this again. Just a thought.
Maybe?
And it kind of just parks its ass right next to the Submarimon that Bonchaleomon came in on. And basically before you, as you probably while swaying a little bit, I assume. Is that a fair assumption? You're probably a little dizzy from the barrel roll.
Yeah.
Probably.
As you kind of sway a little bit, you see a giant walls and a giant gate. Um, you both see something very different and something similar. I'll start with the similar. On this gate, right on the top of it, you see 3 glowing images. To the left, you see what looks like the number 1. On the right, you see what looks like a man cut in half, or cut diagonally, I should say. And in the middle, you see what looks like a sideways 8. Roll just a flat intel. Smappy.
I don't understand what you're getting about rolling these flats and stuff.
Basically, instead of clicking Intel Investigation, just click Intel. That's what flat means. It's basically equivalent to saying just straight Intel. It's basically the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah. More you know, again.
My sleeping schedule's been off, so my knowledge has been wiped a bit.
Fair enough. Same kind of here, more or less.
Oh, I got me there 12.
Uh,
There, friendo.
uh, so, with a 12, you know what the middle one is supposed to be. It's obviously supposed to be infinity. But what you really notice is that all three of them are glowing a little differently. On the left, you see one glowing very brightly. On the right, you see a slight faint glow, and in the middle, you see a dim glow. And that's only where the start of things go. Freya, you look forward, and just past the gate, you see your mom. She's standing there, gentle smile, almost beckoning you with a warm, comforting look in her eyes. Smab, just past the gateway, you see a gelatinous entity. This gelatinous entity is rather tall. It is got almost a bioluminescence to it and pitch black eyes.
Ooh.
And you realize it's not staring past you and it's not staring at you. It's staring at Freya. And that's when you follow its gaze and notice Freya's eyes are beginning to glow black. Her entire skin is cracking, peeling, and all of her veins are turning bioluminescent. I'm going to ask you what you do in a moment. Freya, as you see your mom just standing across the gateway, you feel comfort, warmth, and you feel this unshakable sensation of returning home. You're not really sure why you feel that way or what's triggering it. But as you stare out towards this and see her, this is becoming more and more familiar. You've been here. You've been here many times when you were a child. You remember seeing eyes that some people would stare at you and your mom with looks of venom and vile. Others would almost look at you with this welcome home expression on them. You feel conflicted because on the one hand you feel like you shouldn't be here and yet like you need to be here. And that's when you hear, "Sweetheart, look how you've grown. You've grown so strong. I'm sorry to make you work so much harder, dear. But I need you to do something. I need you to get through this place. I need you to undo what was done. Make the wrong right. Set them free. I know you can do it, sweetheart." If only your father saw you now. Although I think he would try to spoil you rotten if that was the case. Alright. Stiff up lip and give it everything you got. Okay?
Alright.
As you feel this warmth, like almost a combination of warmth and ease, Smab, here's what you heard that whole time. You heard in a creepy, possessed demon voice coming out of Freya's mouth, Eyot. Eyot. Eind. Eyot. Sigh. Must undo. Must correct. What do you do?
I'm just kind of. How much taller is Luciman to me?
Um,
'Cause I know I'm like 4.5.
yeah, she's like a foot two, a foot three. No, she is 5'8". You are four,
Oh, yeah, I'm like 4.5.
so like 4'6". So yeah, she's like a foot two.
Damn. I'm gonna reach my hand up, just poke her cheek with my metal hand. You alright?
Um.
I didn't know your voice could go that deep.
So as
Are
you
you a
start,
demon? Are you possessed?
as you start to poke
Should
her
I
cheek,
should I poke? Say no if I poke you more.
so as you go to poke her cheek, you don't notice it at first because it's fast and it's hard to notice at first. But she is no longer possessed on your end. She's no longer seeing her mom. She sees one moment just her vision kind of cloud and then come back. And then she just sees a small metal finger go poke, poke.
Don't say anything if you're still possessed. Poke, 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 poke.
I'd say I'd look on in confusion. See what happened.
Poke, poke, poke. You know that Uzi slime thing was looking at you, right?
What slime thing?
I point over to where it is.
It's not there.
Oh,
Shortly after just shortly after you started to poke where she snapped out of it, it disappeared. And now you just have no idea how and when it managed to disappear. Especially since you can see into the city a good bit. There's nothing to hide behind.
I think this place is haunted. Poke.
Yeah, something's going on. We need to figure out what it is.
Should I take that to mean you two head forwards?
You head the forward. At least I know I do.
Yep.
So, as you walk in, you kind of come to realize and appreciate something. Especially as Freya, without even realizing it, has basically an imprinted map in her head of the entire street, every building, and somehow seems to be very confident about what they used to be suddenly. And at first, you don't realize you're doing that either. It's something only after you've finished telling about what the freaking fourth building down the row was that you start to realize, wait, why do I seem to know all this? Why am I so confident in any of this shit? And it messes with your head for a moment. You literally go, without even looking at them, just with gestures, not even needing to look at all, which fucks with Smab's brain even more so, because she looks at the buildings and sees, holy shit, she's right. What the hell is this crap? It's probably getting a little creepy. Because like I said, it's not even you're looking at all. You're just point, 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 point as you're going by without ever looking at them.
Mm.
First building on the left, item shop. Building on the right used to be a weapons shop. Second building on the left was a tavern. Second building on the right was just a nobleman's house. Third building on the left was the guards barracks. Fourth building on the right was an inn. And as you're doing this, you're not looking at them, you're just pointing. And Smab is the one who's actually looking and seeing she's completely dead on the money every single time. How do you respond to that shit, Smab?
You've been here before?
I believe so. I think this is home.
No offense, but your home looks like it got trashed.
Actually, no.
No?
Her home actually looks really good for being under the sea for who knows how many thousands of years.
Hmm.
That's the warm up. As you look around, you realize there's tons of sea life, tons of kelp, barnacles, sure. But what you realize is that none of the metals have tarnished in the slightest. There is absolutely zero rust on them. And as you inspect them further, you realize the blades still have an edge. A very sharp edge.
What the heck?
And that's only the start still. As you realize this, you see the buildings, they are all completely intact. There is no rust on them. There is no damage at all. Honestly, if it wasn't for all of the sea life clinging to the buildings and clinging all over the place, you would never know that this building had ever been under the sea in its entirety of existence. And then it further dawns on you, you both can breathe. You are deep in the ocean and are breathing. Something you couldn't do till you got here.
I kind of figured there was a bubble or something around the place that we weren't aware of.
Quite. But yet, despite this bubble, it's not keeping the water out, is the weird thing. This bubble seems to be just pumping in oxygen into this area in spite of the water. So even though you're breathing fine because of how much oxygen is getting pumped in. But that's when the real kicker happens. You see another almost like an inner wall, basically, encircling further in. You see yet another gate, and much like the first gate, it's wide open. With the same symbols above the door, with the same glows even. The left being a number 1, It's glowing the brightest. The man who's got a diagonal slash has got a medium glow, and then the one that is a sideways 8 is glowing very dimly. And the door's wide open. Here's what you see. Freya, you see your mom again. With a smile, she says, "That's it, sweetie. You're almost there. It's not too much farther now. Really. You'll be fine." And she fades away. In that same instant, Smab, you saw the gelatin again. And once again, she spoke as if she was possessed. And said the same thing. What do you two say?
I don't. I don't trust it. I fire off a Nat 20 Spitfire.
Ooh.
You miss.
Nat
Oh.
fucking what?
You miss.
I like this narrated. How this missed, please.
Because you're in water. Fire gets put out by water. That's why.
I thought we were in a bubble.
As I said, this bubble is pumping in oxygen, but you're still in water. You are still surrounded by water. It's just you're breathing normally because the bubble's pumping in oxygen. That's why. So you're still completely submerged. How do I describe this best?
Nah, I get it. I get it. My brain's just running slow today.
That's right. But yeah, that's the whole reason why. Is because basically as you go to shoot this out, because of all the water everywhere, it just... That's all. And shortly after you do this attack, it disappears. She snaps back to normal. What do you say to do now?
Can I ask Google about the symbols?
I'm gonna say yes. Mostly because you two, one, are close, but two, we've kind of established the fact that you guys can kind of talk to each other's other halves.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you do. The question is, would he know Shite? Is the real question.
Will's known a lot so far.
Yeah. I'm gonna say he knows stories, some myths, but he doesn't have any concrete answers. I feel like it's the proper response because this is more ancient than Marine Angemon, and honestly, this relic and this kind of much of this area is even more kind of ancient and mythological than even Marine Angemon. So I'm gonna say he knows stories. He's heard stories, the same ones that Lady Leomon gave, but also kind of gave some other stories about how once upon a time a scientist from a foreign land came here to do science, and while they made miracles happen, it caused much trouble with people, but also he made an object that could make those miracles happen. The problem here is that he knows that it comes at a cost, and he knows that the cost is normally extreme. And he knows that this object will teleport, fly to a whole new location, and more often than not, a whole new time. And no one knows when or where it'll go. So people have been very wary of it, like trying to solve things on their own, because if that miracle gets used on something crappy and it comes at an extreme cost and then it can't be found again, what do you do then? I'm going to say he says something that kind of catches Smab's ear a little bit. He says that it is an object that is known to, in order to power its miracles and to kind of enact its costs, it typically requires direct contact, and it's often described as a black and bioluminescent orb. And I think that's probably about all he would really know. So, do you move forwards? Or what do you like to do / say?
Maybe I try to look around for something to see if like I can move something to climb on top of it to get a closer look at the symbols and touch them if it's not too high.
I'm gonna say this is gonna require an investigation check.
Okay. Oof.
That's a 2.
Yeah. Whew. Unfortunately, this was not going to be a low one. So, ultimately, as you look up at it and as you look around, you don't really find anything that can give you the height you would need, especially with how large and how high up it is. Because it is like. It's almost like one of those medieval drawbridges type big.
Okay.
So, ultimately, you don't manage to do so. But, I am going to say that you can tell that these things are important. You're not sure how, you're not sure why, but you can tell that they are important. It is wide open, and would you like to go through?
Sure.
So as you go through, you basically once again do it all over again, where you, without looking, you just point. This is what that is. That's what that was. Boom, boom, boom. 4 more times. And again, all without looking. And for Smab, looks and sees, damn, she's right. Left is a brothel. Right is a blacksmith's, not the swordsmith, sorry, a horseshoe smith place. Second building on the left is another brothel. Second on the right is a gambling casino. And then Smab just is like, oh, shite, yeah. And before anyone can ask, the reason why you could tell those two are brothels is because they have basically the equivalency of like red light district banners. One of them does have a sign, and that sign is very explicit as well. So it's kind of hard not to pick up that it's a brothel. Like, it might as well have had brothel in its name. That's how explicit the sign was. But yeah, you just see her call these things out without looking at all as you continue to go. Would you like to say anything? Or do you just keep walking?
We keep walking, in my opinion.
Okay. Would you like to say anything, Freya?
um, I'd say because this is home, right? Like where I grew up.
You can tell that you lived just outside of the red light district. You're not sure exactly in what way, shape, or form truly. You just know that you were definitely born and for a time raised here in old Atlantis. A lot of details are very fuzzy. All you can truly remember for certain is that your mom would often take you into the city whenever it was for buying ingredients for her chemicals and so on and so on. Uh, you can't remember much, but you can tell that she also took you out this way to visit your father. But you can't
Mm.
remember where in the city he lived at all, really. You just know that he was somewhere here in the city.
I guess as I'm pointing things out, I would just say like I don't know how I know this, but I do. And my mom is saying I need to be here, and we should try to find my home.
Your mom wasn't some kind of slime monster with black eyes for holes, did it?
No.
Mm. No.
Hmm. Hmm. So as you continue on your way, you see three towers. These three towers are arrayed with one on the left, one on the right, one in the middle, and connecting these towers is basically what looks like a giant wall. You can tell that it is slick. You can tell uh, that there's some signs on each one of the towers. Tower on the left has what says Und on it. Tower on the right says Eind. If you guys want me to spell these things out for you afterwards, I will. The middle one basically says Sai. You can see uh, that if you look from the top of the tower to the middle, you can see a number one, a man with a cut diagonally, and then a sideways 8. And that's on each one of the three towers. And you can also see that these gates, right above where they're completely closed, you can tell that there's nothing glowing on them and no images on them. What do you do?
I'll approach the gate and see if they're like the gate is open. If we can get in.
It is not.
Mm.
The gate is closed tight, and it's one of those giant, like, stabs into the ground type gates. like the kind you would see on fortifications or barriers. Like this kind of is almost like in medieval castles, like overall gate. It's metal, barred heavily. It's very tight squares, so that this way it can't really be gone through. But each one of the bars is pretty meaty, so that this way just attacking it. This is basically like a medieval castle's wet dream level defense.
Mm.
Like there are castles that wishes they had this kind of defenses.
Oh, this is the castle wall, yeah?
Oh yeah, massive castle wall. Basically, each one of those walls that you've passed so far with the giant gate, each one of those is a castle wall, basically encircling the entire town. This place, if you were making the manga and you wanted to make sure that the invaders seemed like they were hopeless, screwed, and never stood a shot, this is the type of city you'd have them try to invade. Where it looks like there's never hope, you will never have hope, game over, go home. It's that type of giant gate castle wall.
Mm.
Oh.
I guess I'll bang on the gate and call out to see if anyone's there.
You bang on the gate. Clearly, there's no one. Like, even tumbleweeds ain't showing up. There's just abject silence outside of the echoing of the banging.
Are there any buildings around near this wall?
Just the three towers.
Is it possible for us to climb like we did that one wall?
No, unfortunately, these are very clearly way too slick.
Oh.
Thank you, Kelp.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have you roll investigation, you two.
Okay.
I have a 13.
Oh my
They have a
god.
2.
So, as you look out to try and find an answer to this, you realize that these towers, they have no entrance, but they do have what looks like markings on the bottom, all within about arm height. You can tell that these markings are smaller uh, variations of the markings that you've seen on the gates and on the top of the tower.
Markings on gate and markings on tower? Is my brain translating this right?
Technically, yes. So basically, there have been gates you've passed that are wide open that have these same marks. This is the first gate where it doesn't have any marks on the gate and is completely closed off, barred, and locked, sealed shut. But you have these three towers. Each one of them has markings at the top
And how far is it to said top from where we're at?
Um, each one has a different height to them. The one
Oh.
on the left is the tallest, the one on the right being second tallest, and the one in the middle being shorter. They're all very slick, but they all have what looks like those markings repeated, but all suspiciously at arm height.
Hmm.
How tall is the shortest tower?
The shortest tower is about 65 feet up.
All right. Spit fire for the symbol. Shit, I'm in water. Can't do that. Wait, we can swim.
You can
Can we
walk.
not?
You can
Then
literally
what?
walk, I'm afraid. Um,
If we're in
so
water, can't we swim?
you can swim, but I'm going to tell you right now, due to all the oxygen, it'll be harder. Because even though you're still surrounded with water, you're still got oxygen in you, which kind of typically kind of sinks you a bit. So I'm going to
I
say
thought oxygen was a buoyancy.
it can be depending on if how it's done, basically, but not anywhere near as much as being dead, basically. When you are dead, you float at your best. Don't ask me why. I'm not a scientist or a biologist. I'm a clown. Yeah. I wonder if it's because you no longer have the oxygen, so your body's getting filled up with the water, causing you to become buoyant.
It in that case, it's more like along the lines of boats, where it's taken in so much water it becomes buoyant due to the result.
Now you got me thinking, damn it. Anyways, suppose you people do the thinking.
Hey, that's a
uh,
you know the saying, thinking's a dangerous thing.
uh, but anyways, I'm gonna say you can. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna assume you're probably trying to swim for getting over the gate, correct? Because if that is the mentality, I'm gonna have to say no.
The idea was that I'd swim over to the small tower and hit the symbol.
So yeah, there's you can hit the symbol, but you don't have to swim up. There's literally two separate sets of it. There's a set that's at the high, but then there's another set that's down lower.
Yeah, but it's 60 feet above me.
No, that's the highest set. There's another set within
No,
arm's
I
reach.
asked you for the lowest, didn't I? Didn't I?
No, you asked me for the lowest tower, not the lowest symbols.
I mean, it sounded like they were on the towers.
Oh my lord, there are on towers.
This is my brain.
Dude, just shut up and I'll explain. I promise. Okay. So
I'm sorry for the confusion.
it's alright. So there's a set in these towers. Each one, there are two sets of the same symbols. There's some that are really high up on the tower, and then there's another set that's literally down low in arm's reach.
Oh. Now I'm understanding a bit better. Thank you. So, I think the gimmick here could be we touch the symbols down here, see what lights up there, and see if the door will open.
Worth the try.
What are the colors we work with? If there are colors. Or are they just symbols?
There's just symbols and different variants of light. Basically, you can tell that from what you've seen so far that the symbols, there seems to be a order of it of some kind. Bam. What do you do? Thank you, honey, for your input.
I press the symbol closest to me.
Uh-huh. Because of that whole confusion, I'm going to say probably the one you click is the short tower, correct?
Yeah, we'll go short tower.
Okay. Which one do you press? There are three options.
We'll start with the first one.
Okay. So, as you press this in, above you, you see the similar symbol up on the top of the tower begin to glow. It is very bright for a moment. No, you do not hear a honey purring. What you do hear, though, is a clicking noise. Chick.
Right?
Nothing
Then
happens.
then I hit the one, the last one.
It's the same thing, really. It glows for a moment, and then you hear a click noise.
Then I touch the middle one.
As you touch the middle one, it glows for a moment, and then you hear a click and a spinning sound. A very fast spinning sound.
Okay.
It sounds like it's getting close. Roll deck save.
Oh, oh dear. Oh dear, dearie dear. I got 11.
Oh. Oh, am I rolling too?
Nope.
No? Okay.
That is 1 point of damage. As a tiny little curved dagger flies at you and manages to kind of clip your arm a little.
Oof.
What do you do now?
I take the dagger out. Is there anything interesting about the dagger that may help me out?
Um, it. hmm. As you look at the dagger, you can kind of tell that it came flying from the left. And as you look, you see that there is what looks like a hole in a far wall now. You're not confident, but you're pretty sure that you did something wrong, obviously. But you kind of have a hunch based off of the kind of the overall layout. You can kind of tell that there's three towers, three things that need to be pressed, and without an investigation check, I'm not going to say more.
And and with that, we have an at one. Get me.
Yeah. So that's all the info you get from that. So
Ouch.
you still got info, just not as much as you were hoping. So do what now?
Hmm.
Well, I've tried my button combo.
Uh, can I have a closer look at those symbols?
Um, yes, and they are very familiar to you, as if you've seen them before.
Hmm.
I will let you choose how you want this to go. You can either roll history to try and see what those memories entail, or you cannot.
Um, I'll roll history.
Okay.
That's 3. Look at our roll. That could have been a nat 20.
Whew. Okay.
Ouch.
Okay. You ain't no sheet. Your memory has checked out. Your history has decided to fade. All you could think about, probably right now, is you want to avoid the same consequences of a knife. Any other thoughts have decided to check out. And the only other thing I can say is that you know that there is a specific order and you know you've seen it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. What
Middle
to
first,
do?
last.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Um, you click on the middle. I'm gonna have to ask middle of the same tower or middle first last of the same tower.
I am attempting same tower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do I end up with another small dagger?
Dex saving throws what you get. And we'll see from there.
Let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is.
10. It could have been that 20. Come on, game.
So I assume she got 3 again?
Mm, I got a 10.
Okay. I'm gonna have
Oh,
you as well roll, sweetie.
okay, dexterity?
Dex saving throw.
Okay. Ooh.
19. Damn, where's my luck?
So Smap, you take 1 point of damage.
Oh, no.
Uh, Freya, you take 2.
Oh, wait,
But she
what?
rolled higher.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Uh, okay, I'm scared now.
So what do you do?
How far away are all the keys? The
Um,
symbols.
on the same tower or on different towers?
On the same tower.
On the same tower, they are pretty evenly spaced out. They're about, I'm gonna say 2 feet apart each one.
Damn it, I was about to say, if they're close enough, I'd be like, all 3 at once! Damn it! Oh well. Ooh, wait. Are they like, if I stretch my arms out, can I reach 2 of them?
Yeah.
Okay, both hands will hit one and my face will hit the other, all at the same time.
Alright. You do so. Dex saving throw.
Ah, balls. I got an 8! Come on!
Oh my goodness.
That is 3 damage.
Oof. Okay, this is blah, blah.
Okay, this is definitely the wrong tower.
I'm starting to become a little scared.
Um,
Yeah, like I said, I'm not a puzzle person.
this is probably gonna lead nowhere, but can I like look for my home? See if there's any clues in there?
You try to look. The problem is you can tell that your home is definitely not in this part of the castle, you can tell.
Okay.
I think that's probably all you're like sure of right now when it comes to your home right now. What I am gonna say is because you decided to bring up home and think about it, I'm going to allow you to roll again that history check.
All right.
Please don't have one. Please don't have one.
19!
Oh, thank God! I had no idea how I was going to make a nat one scenario for that one. Phew. I makes my job a little easier. So, as you kind of look at it, you come to a memory kind of flashes back in your head. You remember that the combination isn't all on one tower. You have a vague memory of not necessarily what order exactly, but you do remember that the three towers combined is necessity, just as much as the order.
Hmm.
Now, whether you vocalize any of that or continue to just press random buttons, we'll see.
Yeah, I'll mention that. Just map.
Tall, small, medium.
Repeat that one more time.
Tall, small, medium.
Uh-huh.
Tower wise.
So when you press the tall tower, what are you pressing?
Oh god, there's like
Three.
over 100 fucking variables here.
There's three. Per tower, there's only three.
Yeah, but then you add in that plus XYZ.
But yeah,
Uh,
so
my brain. Uh, I'm gonna need. I'll- I'm gonna need my ally here to help with this. My brain cannot do. I already have to go take a headache medicine.
okay.
Let's see. Yeah. Um, what was the order of the towers that you said?
So on the left, there's a tall tower, tallest one. On
Mm-hmm.
the right, there is a medium tower, and in the middle, there's a small tower.
Mm. Um, I. Hmm.
Each one
I guess.
has three options, the same three options on them.
I guess on the tall tower, I'll press the one with the man symbol on it,
The one cut in
and
half.
yeah, and on the medium tower, the infinity symbol, and the small one, the remaining symbol.
Uh-huh. Dex saving throw, please.
Oh, good.
Just like before, the towers kind of start to glow, but then they fade.
And it's a 10.
Uh-huh.
But we've rolled a lot of natural 20s we're not allowed to have.
So that is two. That'd be 2 damage. Um. Um. As you see this tower begin to glow and fade, you're reminded of the gates you've passed And you remember that each one showed you something. Each one showed you a specific image on the gates.
Hmm. Um. Can we go back and have a look to see what they were?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that then. Because I don't know what else to do.
Um, Smab, are you going to wait for a return or are you going to start messing with stuff?
I've already done enough messing around. The scientist knows when the scientist is done.
Okay.
I shall cage the plaz.
So, oh, growing. Oh. uh, as you go out to the gate you just passed, what you see to the left is what's looks like a number 1.
Okay, one.
To the right, you see what looks like a man cut in half. And in the middle, you see a sideways 8. What you can also see is that the one on the left is glowing brightest. The one on the right is glowing medium. And the one in the middle is glowing faint.
Hmm.
Do you take this info back?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You take the info. I assume you deliver it, correct? I just take the
Alright.
silence to mean yes. So,
We'll go with the colors from brightest to low to dimmest, I guess?
mhm. So what do you click where?
I'm sorry, my brain is gonna have us here forever.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the symbols.
A1 was to the
Hold on.
left. To the right was a man cut diagonal. And in the middle was a sideways 8.
So I guess on the brightest tower, the one, and on the medium one, the man, and then the last one, the infinity symbol.
Starting from left or right?
Uh-huh.
No. Starting from left or the right? Question mark.
Oh, left.
Okay. As you input this, are you clicking the same symbols you saw on the gate?
Yep.
Okay. As you go to the left and you click the number 1, it begins to glow very brightly and stays glowing. As you go to the right tower to click what looks like a man cut in half, it begins to glow with a bit of a moderate glow to it, and it stays glowing. As you go to the last, the short tower, and you input the sideways 8, it begins to do a dim glow and stays glowing. As you hear as the whole thing opens up by the whole thing sinking into the floor.
We opened it.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
It only
Finally.
took me needing medicine. and then letting you handle it. The monkey brain of Plaz is not something for this challenge.
And the worst part is I kept that so simple. And what's
This is
worse
how
off,
bad I personally am at this stuff. My memory is really bad.
ugh. But anyways, it's done. Mazel tov. You see a way forward, and you see a building. It is a beautiful building, just like everyone you've passed, but this one feels comforting. Even to you, Plaz, this is unlike any home you've really ever seen, any house you've ever seen. It almost seems to pull you in and give you a hug almost. Almost like it wants to welcome you home. You can't remember a time where you felt this welcomed. Thank you, honey. You're right, I should get to the point. For you, Freya, this place is familiar. You know this place. You've been here. And before you can even acknowledge the words leaving your mouth, you say, I'm home. You say out loud, I'm home. What do you
I
say?
guess after saying that, I would maybe approach the building, see if I can get inside.
There's no door.
Oh.
In fact, honestly, what surprised you most is just how open this is. There's no doors, there's no locks, there's no windows, it's just open. Almost as if almost as if anyone is invited.
Mm-hmm.
You feel this nostalgic feeling, you feel not only like you've been here, but it's like it's someplace you looked forward to visiting. As you walk in, you see a man. He is quite tall. He is strong. Not bodybuilder, but has a very almost, I wouldn't say wiry, but more of a lean strength to him. There is what looks like a sheath lying right next to him. He is sitting with one leg over the other, almost like a yoga pose almost. It's almost as if he's just waiting patiently. Smap, you see this man this time around. Okay, honey, I get your point.
Sorry. She's like trying to rest in my arms.
So, you see this man. He is roughly mid 40s, roughly. He has some scars, a couple wounds. They've healed nicely, thankfully. He, without looking up, says, please, sit. Make yourselves at home. What do you do?
I'm gonna act warily, and I will sit down, but I'm keeping an eye on the area.
Okay. What about you?
Um, yeah, approach and have a seat and ask him what's his name. Like I tell him mine and ask for his name.
He he tries to make a joke, but I wouldn't say it's like bad. I just wouldn't say it lands quite as funny as he thinks it does. He says, "Wow, forgotten your old man. That's cold."
Oh shit, that's that's my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I ask him what he's doing there.
Uh, he looks at you with a kind of a grin, trying to make something dark light, and he says basically, "Well, turns out when you die and you have unfinished business, you don't get to leave." Hmm.
When did you die?
I was ruling my domain. I was here at home reviewing tax budgets and documents and quotes on how the city is faring. Was told that some people who were once upon a time advisors for me wanted to stage a coup. In the end, they decided it wasn't enough to just stage a coup the normal way, especially since they knew that it would not end well for them. So, what they decided to do was utilize the orb that they had created in secret to grant their wish that I would be killed, overthrown. Unfortunately, they were not wise, smart, or really had much brains. So they decided, without testing and without any thought, they're just going to wish for that miracle and it'll happen. No, it did not. It did kill me, but it also killed all of them in the process.
Wow.
Quite. That was my response as well. Along with, what was the point of all this again? But needless to say, it did work. Bit them in the ass twice as hard. But that wasn't the worst part. They managed to cast a curse onto your mother. A curse that now has her just as trapped here as I. And I would assume you've probably seen her about, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
And you, um,
Name's Plaz.
nice. Simple. So, dear Plaz, the problematic bit is that, honestly, you did not see her mother.
Are you a ghost? Are you one of them squid, gooey ink monster things?
Technically, that goo, as you call it, is technically my wife. But trapped. In a sense, sentenced to an eternity, just as trapped as I. Although, unfortunately, somehow, my poltergeist self got the best end of the stick. Somehow. So long as that orb, aka goo, is functional, she is not going to know any rest. The only thing that rivals my love for her is my stubbornness. So here I am.
She kept mentioning that I had to right a wrong. Do you know what that was?
Ironically enough, yes, 'tis the orb itself. What she wants desperately is the same thing that I want. End this curse so we can go off to whatever paradise, heaven, or peaceful rest we can have. Whether that means frolicking like a bunch of weird angels or otherwise, I frankly no longer care. Just out. Soon.
So, just my brain. Are these people the Are these people? Does the dad look human, or is they Digimon?
He is human.
Ah,
But you can tell he's not Nordic though.
hmm.
You can very clearly tell from just his build, his skin tone. He's very clearly Atlantean.
I just whisper over to Lucimon. I don't think you look exactly like your dad.
I'm not sure. Is it okay if I just go with this to be easy?
Yeah,
It's like 20.
I'm
Doctor,
noticing it
you
too.
might have been adopted.
It's just the 50 nuggets thing. I don't know what to do really. No. There's a 10. But that's it.
But
It's like
I'm in the bathroom at the moment, so take it from here. I've said what I said.
See. Um, do you know where the orb is?
Ironically, that I do. So, follow me. He begins to lead you into a sort of back room almost. And as he does so, he gestures. Head through that door. Take the elevator. Click basement.
All right.
At the bottom of the basement, you'll find two paths. One path just leads to a dead end. That's the left. It was put in as a joke by our asshole architect. Before you ask, yes, he's still getting grief even in the afterlife for it.
Architects, more engineers for the win, I say.
Unfortunately, our engineer, he was required to go to try and fix a project over in the Desert Kingdom. It was an awful pyramid. Failure of a mishap. The only thing worth a damn about it was its interior. Ugh. Even then, it was ridiculously gauche. Ugh. But I digress. The path to the right is the one you want, and it will take you straight to where the orb is. Thankfully, on that right path is just a straight shot. Can't miss it. And that's before you see the quite genuinely army of goo people frozen stiff.
Hmm.
Be careful. Oh, and it's good to see how much you've grown, sweetie. He gives you a hug. Obviously, in his attempt, though, whoop, just goes right through you. What do you say slash do?
What did you say that happened?
Basically, he went to try and hug you, but in doing so, just kind of phased through you.
Oh. Um. I mean, I guess I would try to touch him again, like to see if I can actually touch him, or if he's actually kind of, not really there.
I'm gonna say you can roll for it
Okay.
because there is nothing for hug ghost dad. I'm just gonna say roll a d20.
Where's that?
On the left side of the screen, there should be like a row of things, and there should be something that at the bottom looks like a dice. It's clicking on that, and then you would click on 20. If need be, you can have Smab roll it for you.
So, I'm thinking of an All Might moment here, but it puts me in corruption territory.
Oh,
You're right now
I'm
sitting at 12%. So
Yeah.
if you do so, I'm going to say fine. Because you're doing it for a quick All Might moment and it's intentional, I'd say you're not going to increase much.
Like, maybe a 1 or 2%?
2 probably at max, yeah.
Alright. I'm going to go ahead and shift into Phantom Plasmon. I'm going to put one hand on Freya, another on Ghostad, and I want to make it so that they can actually touch each other.
Okay, I was really scared where you were going with this for a second. I thought you were about to try and yeet her soul out. Okay. Far less terrifying.
I kind of want to, for as long as I'm touching them, make them on the same plane of existence.
Mm, mm, I'm going to say no with a but at the end. I'm going to say it doesn't necessarily need you to touch them. I'm going to say that because of your unique spectral existence, it kind of just happens with you focusing on making it
Alright.
happen instead.
Alright.
Because, like, I mean,
Corruption for the good!
Yeah. You know what? No. I'm gonna say because you are using corruption for good, which would be viewed as a countering effect. I'm gonna just say you gain no corruption instead this time.
Okay.
This is not gonna happen all the time, but this is something that can at times possibly happen.
By the way, I can't find that dice. I've been looking and I can't
What's
find
the
it.
dice?
Just a d20.
A 3.
Okay. Good news. Smab's thing makes it so it's possible. But I
I'm
am
imagining a very awkward hug.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for your end, it probably feels awkward. For him, it's not that awkward because, you know, my kid. For you, though, it's very awkward because he's not outside of when you were roughly at the oldest of maybe 4 or 5. Every moment outside of that, he's never been in your life. So for you, it's kind of hard.
Hmm.
on his end, it is a very good like teddy bear hug. I almost imagine on your end, it's probably like a little side thing, though.
Mm, no, I'd say I give him a big bear hug in return.
Um, I'm gonna say because of that 3, it that is a low enough score. I feel like there's got to be something to it. So how about this? You do manage to do it, but you kind of accidentally squeeze a little too hard, and he wasn't braced for it, and you hear a pop sound.
Oh no!
Oh
It's
no.
he's not in pain because he's a ghost, but you could tell that he's laughing at your reaction to the noise. And you could tell that he is enjoying it a lot.
I'd say I'd join him in laughing. Like once I see that he's laughing, I'd start laughing too.
I'm gonna say he probably in you laughing probably doesn't make him laugh any less. It probably makes him just laugh harder. But finally, he manages to kind of get a bit of a grip on himself and says, "Okay, now time for the painful part as a parent. Time to be demanding." He kind of grabs the holder's shoulder and says, "Take care of yourself. Keep yourself safe. And whatever you do, don't you ever think for 1 second that I didn't want to be around for your childhood, that your mother didn't want me around for your childhood, and don't you ever think that we don't love you and adore you, even in the afterlife. Because that is not even close to true." He, after saying that, turns to Plaz and just says, "Thank you very much for that moment. To say that it meant the world to me and more is a tragic understatement." He does a sort of, it's not Japanese styled bow, but he does a bit of a bow to it. Kind of more
As
of a
I kind of do a
militaristic.
bow, I just kind of end up going from Phantom Plaz to Plaz. As I give a traditional bow.
He
After
does,
you finish bowing, I'll reach over to him and give him a big squeeze.
I'm gonna assume you're talking about Plaz, correct?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And so thank you.
It's nothing. You see tears actually on Plaz's face.
I assume from being squished.
No, from the whole situation.
Oh, I assumed it was her nat 20 level of strength. But he does. I wouldn't say he fades out. That's not quite right. You can kind of tell that he kind of takes a deep breath and doesn't pass on necessarily, but is no longer maintaining a corporeal form, basically.
He is now see-through.
Yeah, he's basically invisible, but it's still there.
Meanwhile, I'm resisting the urge to cry.
I'm gonna
Well, that's what
say
you got Plasmon for.
you can tell that your old man's kind of doing the same. You can kind of tell that the reason he's turning invisible isn't because of exhaust. You can just tell he's like, "Don't let her see you cry. Don't let her see you cry."
Meanwhile, everyone can see me cry.
Yeah, these two are hiding it. You're not. But yeah, the elevator awaits you.
Also, I just want to point out, this is the Digimon and Dragons movie, folks. Enjoy it while it lasts.
uh, That is just a
Alright, well,
terrifying idea.
I guess it's time to get murdered. Let's go to the elevator.
So, as you take the elevator down, Smab, you realize something's written on the elevator. It's a very familiar name. It is a name you know, and not inherently for the best of reasons. Say hello to Uncle's name written on the wall. Shuji Tanaka. How do you respond? The fuck?
Getting pretty heartwarming. Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently I
This
got
is.
booted for so long there, which is bullshit.
Oh God, I thought we lost. I thought we lost the movie.
So,
Phew.
what part did you last hear?
We were at elevator.
Okay, so as you go into the elevator, you see a name written on the wall as you start to go down. Shuji Tanaka.
His name. His name's everywhere.
As you
My crying worsens.
as you see his name emblazoned on this elevator, you slowly get a bad feeling in your stomach that this is just the tip of the iceberg for how bad your day's about to get.
No.
Freya, in seeing Smash's reaction, the only word that really pops in your head is just, fuck, it's gonna be one of those days. As you go through these, you say these things, whether aloud or internally, I leave to you. The doors open. You see a tunnel before you. One path to the left, one to the right. What do you do?
I guess I will check out the left just in case.
Uh-huh.
I'll do a quick check of the right and try and compose myself.
Okay. As you look to the left, Freya, you hear some clanking noise, and you realize that there, in the tunnel, it's a dead end, alright, but not because of a lack of bodies.
What the?
There are thousands of corpses, mangled, chewed, eviscerated, disemboweled, hacked, carved, and bled dry. And they are all stacked on top of each other.
Hmm. You said that it wasn't really a dead end? Or it was? I can't
It
remember.
was. It was, but
It was.
just in a very multi purpose sense. It's a dead end because it doesn't lead anywhere. But it's also got a shitload of dead bodies.
Mm.
Also, I have finished my beast form.
Cool.
Nice.
I have
Yeah,
sent it over.
nice. With that information, I say go over to where Smab is and tell Smab what I found.
As you begin to make your way to Smab, you do hear something behind you. An almost grinding sound. Almost like someone is freshly cracking pepper. Smab. As you go to search the right, you do find a pretty empty path, but you do not get even a single second to calm down because you see trophies, plaques, documents praising one Shuji Tanaka. Nobel Peace Prizes. You name an accolade in science, medicine, the world. It is here. All dedicated to Shuji Tanaka. There are even pamphlets praising him and some reviews of him that say that he is a deity of medicine, a shining grace from the Lord, sent down to the medical industry as a whole. And then you hear Freya walking towards you, all the while hearing a cracking noise and grinding. Do either of you two turn around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do a bit of a turnaround.
You see a giant pile of corpses suddenly behind you both.
Fuck.
Well, well. Hold on. Well, well. I wasn't expecting this in my calculations. This shall be interesting. Are you ready to have some fun?
No.
Well, isn't that too bad, little niece?
Wait.
As he calls you little niece, the corpse pile explodes,
Oh.
and there are what looks to be 30 Datamon.
Oh.
Now I will restart the DDs. Now let me just pull up a Datamon for people. And no, not that. Ah, ah. Right here. This is a Datamon.
Hmm.
And And as soon as you see it, you hear Smab inside your head, Freya from within your own heart. Datamon, ultimate level Digimon. It is said that Datamon are the very embodiment of the internet and all data itself. Their power of Bit Crusher has been known to rather squish its competition. It is a machine, Digimon. It is said there is only one Digimon of ultimate level that is able to rival its overall intellect. Error. Data not found. And there are 35 of them.
Oh, fuck.
They all just called you Plaz Little Niece. What do you do?
Uh, Something tells me you have the wrong Plasmon.
Oh, niece, that's not very kind. How could you treat your good old uncle like this? You have a horrible flashback. You can only think of one person in your whole life who's ever called you little niece. Uncle Tanaka. To put it mildly, you do not remember Uncle Tanaka being 35 strong, though. You were pretty damn sure he was never a legion. So what do you lot do?
I am attempting to keep an uncontrollable rage in control.
Hmm. Yeah,
As,
this.
clearly that is not something we can fight and survive.
So you have a couple options: fight or run. What do you do?
As someone who's taken the lead in a lot of situations, um, I look over at Lucimon, a lot of emotions in my face. The sadness from earlier, trying to keep what appears to be violent emotion at bay and wanting to run and looking to you for directions.
Hmm. Um. I'd say after seeing that all on Plasmon's face, I say that we need to get some distance between us and all of that as fast as we can.
Okay. Roll athletics. The both of you. Unless Freya's gonna princess carry you, Smab.
That's an 18. Let's see if I fail. Yeah, I'm gonna end up fumbling. I'm gonna need a carry.
I'm going to say that as you are running, and just as you're about to trip, basically Freya kind of just you land like almost like fainting princessly perfect into her arms. Think swooning princess basically. You just faint. And right into her arms perfectly without ever missing a beat. As you run, they are still on her heels pretty decently. However, they're not running fast enough to be able to get the full team to attack. Only one of them is just barely able to do something. Yeeks. Okay. They do no damage. Ultimately, as you're running, you get to a very big circular room with lots of gelatinous individuals who are all frozen solid. At dead center, you see what looks like an orb. Smap, you feel called to the orb suddenly. You feel a voice saying, "Use me. Use me." I will be used. Allow me. Call on me. Come to me. And that is where we're going to end for
Aw,
today's adventure.
Oh,
I was hyped for that moment.
Eh. For what it's worth, we will do this on Tuesday. Is when we'll finish this up.
sweet.
All right, so a part two to the movie. Let's go.
And I'm just gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna have you guys all level by one.
Mm, nice.
Oh no.
Yeah. And Smabby, you're gonna have some little extra shite.